Okay, 3 minutes per speaker. 3 minutes per speaker. Okay. Senator Sifuna.
Madam Speaker, allow me some latitude through Senator Kenyuri to pass my condolences to the family of the late Honorable Catherine Nyamato. As you know, Honorable Speaker, there is another great woman leader, Phoebe Asio, that we are also mourning through her son Caesar and the entire Asio family. I just want to say pole to the families and to tell them that they are in our prayers. Honorable Speaker, at the weekend I had the opportunity to meet some young women from the University of Nairobi under the auspices of the ODM Women League led by the President, Madam Beth Siengo, who is a member of this House. And I can tell you that even though Caesar, Phoebe Asio and Catherine Nyamato have left us, there is a great, bright future for women leadership in this country. I met some very young, brilliant women like Rosalyn Alionya, Rachel Kavita, Mary Letitia, and Kimberly Grace. And I am sure you followed those proceedings when they were speaking to the press. Although the press was a bit unkind and was trying to harass them, I have no doubt that the leadership of women leadership has a very bright future. Honorable Speaker, allow me to comment on the statement on disappearances and then on checking of inflammatory utterances. Honorable Speaker, the reason we insist that we need to build a country that works for all of us is that no one is safe until everybody is safe. You have heard from Nandi, you have heard from Marsabit, the senator for there, also saying that senior civil servants are also being disappeared. And this is why we must resolve this question for all of us. Honorable Speaker, lastly, in 2007, I was one of those young people who were saying one term to Kibaki because we wanted him to go home. And we voted to take Kibaki home, Honorable Speaker. We were very shocked when we were told that our vote does not matter, that someone sitting somewhere can actually alter the results at the ballot. Honorable Speaker, there is very irresponsible talk from leaders telling us that in 2027, if the votes for William Ruto will not be sufficient, they will steal for him. And the NCIC has just kept quiet. With that history of 2007, Honorable Speaker, the precursor of the violence was in the interference with the will of the people. And I want to join those who are saying, Honorable Speaker, because we've been told to wait for a democratic opportunity to remove the current government. If we exercise that democratic right and then you go and mess it up the way they're threatening to do, this country will be on fire like it was in 2007. And we don't fear saying it. So, Honorable Speaker, if the NCIC, the IEBC that has just recently been sworn in, cannot even summon these leaders, because as I understand the law on election offenses, you cannot be saying that.
Senator Cheruyot.
Mr. Speaker, two quick comments. Number one is on this issue.
Madam Speaker, not Mr. Speaker.
Apologies, Madam Speaker. I stand corrected. My apologies. Number one is on the statement by Senator Jones Mwaruma with regards to SHA. Madam Speaker, there is something untidy about how this provision for payment, either monthly or yearly, is being communicated particularly to the elderly people and those that live in the villages, Mr. Speaker. Over the weekend at a function, I was actually challenged by people who could not distinguish between what's the difference between monthly and yearly payment. Mr. Speaker, there is an assumption that everybody understands English and Kiswahili. That is not true. We live in a country, especially particularly those of us that represent rural counties, Madam Speaker, where we have the elderly who did not have the benefit of going to school, Madam Speaker. They too deserve access to that information. And therefore, I join myself in the comments by Senator Mwaruma that there needs to be clarity in that particular space. While me and you, who are salaried employees, Madam Speaker, will not face a challenge because this is deducted alongside our salaries, it's causing a lot of challenge to the ordinary citizens who have to pay either on a monthly, Madam Speaker, or yearly, and what provisions have been made. I know, for example, Madam Speaker, that SHA has actually provided even the opportunity that you can borrow funds, Madam Speaker, through Hustler Fund and end up paying for your monthly, your yearly contribution, so to speak. But that is not information that is available, Madam Speaker, to the people that I represent. And therefore, on that account, Mr. Speaker, I expect that the CEO will provide this information for citizens to be able to understand. Lastly, Madam Speaker, in the tabulation of how much each county government received in on-source revenue, I have seen governors from across the country include share contributions or compensation, rather, Madam Speaker, in the declaration. It will make more sense, Madam Speaker, if SHA gave us the information actually to know how much has it been compensated back to each county, so that we can tell our governors that when we passed this law, we included something called a Facility Improvement Fund. That money cannot be used for anything else other than to develop the hospitals for which that fund has been collected, Madam Speaker. And therefore, it will be important that when that statement is responded to, we get a breakdown of the compensation that has gone to each of the 47 counties in the last 7 months that SHA has been operational. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Nyamo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise to contribute on the statement brought by Taita Taveta Senator Mwaruma, on the contributions of SHA, having a requirement that the beneficiaries must contribute at least yearly to enable you access the services. Madam Speaker, SHA is a very bold step by President William Ruto, and a very necessary one in our country towards universal health care. However, Madam Speaker, this provision that the beneficiaries need to contribute at least the annual deductions so that you can be able to access the service is somewhat discriminatory. Because what happens to Mama Mboga who falls ill a month into contribution? What happens to the boda boda if he gets an accident after contributing for 2 to 3 months? We are exposing the same people that we seek to protect in this universal health care provision, and exposing them to the worst case scenario, even death, Madam Speaker. I think we need to relook the implementation. We need to have a 3-tier or maybe some tier in the sense that you can contribute after 3 months, you can access, after 6 months, you can access, so that we don't beat the purpose. The purpose is very noble, to ensure that our citizens at the bottom of the pyramid get to access healthcare equally for all Kenyans, regardless of your background or of financial strength. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge the Committee for Health to interrogate this system and bring clarity to ensure that we do not beat the purpose of the whole system. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I had walked out very briefly. I wanted to comment on the statement by Senator Ojenda on the matter of data misuse for digital lending firms. I think, Madam Speaker, that's a very important statement, because we are all exposed to this danger on our phone, where some people in the process of borrowing digital loans, they use other people as references. And therefore, within a very short time, you see pop-up messages coming on your phone, maybe marketing messages or all kinds of messages which are targeting people. So I think it is an important thing that the Committee for ICT needs to look at, and also the institution responsible for matters of data protection can also look at that to safeguard the interest of Kenyans. And overall, Madam Speaker, I thought we also need to have proper regulations regulating these digital lending firms. They have really increased in number, and some of them are operating outside the banking regulation, outside the CBK regulation on matters of lending. So I think we need a proper framework, and that can also be handled by the Committee for Finance and Budget. Madam Speaker, I have also seen a statement by Senator Seki on the issue of funding of schools. Madam Speaker, it is so sad that many of our schools, especially secondary schools, are on the deathbed because of capitation challenges. Either the capitation money comes late, or that capitation money is not adequate to run the schools. I think something has to be done around the issue of funding of our schools. I was in one of the schools in my county where they cannot even afford lunch for students. The teachers are contributing so that they can cook lunch for the students. Mr. Speaker, when we get...
Senator Methu. Senator, 1 minute, and then we can move to Methu.
Madam Speaker, is a serious problem, and that problem is particularly common in day secondary schools in the villages, where parents cannot afford to pay exorbitant fees, and therefore they depend quite a lot on capitation from the government. So something has to be done around the issue of funding of schools. Madam Speaker, I support the two statements. Thank you very much.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Not Mr. Speaker.
Sorry. I don't know why we are all confusing. But Madam Speaker, maybe it's because of the strength of your voice. Now, Madam Speaker, there are many statements that have been sought, and I want to comment on two of them. One that has been sought by Senator Mwaruma. And let me say this, Mr. Speaker. For those of us who oppose the current government, and those of us who are in the formation that I am in, we are said and we are seen to always oppose for the sake of it. But we all would want SHA to work, because we passed these laws. I was in Turkana. We passed these laws that put the SHA or the Social Health Authority into motion, Madam Speaker. And we must admit that when it is not working, something has to be done. It is not just about running in villages, in empowerments and saying SHA is working, SHA is not working. These are specific cases that have been raised in this specific statement. And I think the reason why this issue of SHA does not make sense to most of the members of parliament, and that's why they keep defending it, even when there are very glaring gaps in this SHA, Madam Speaker, is for the mere reason that most of us are, or rather, all of us are salaried. So our deductions are made just directly from our pay slips. And more importantly, we also have a very good medical cover. Because members of parliament have a very good medical cover, they don't care what the other Kenyans are feeling and how they are suffering, Honorable Speaker. Because it does not make sense that you have paid for SHA faithfully for 2, 4, 7 months, but if you have not paid for it annually, you cannot get this service, Madam Speaker. So now tell me, if you have to pay for 8 months and you are not able to get services on the 8th month, what happens about the other months that you have paid, Madam Speaker? So we shall continue speaking until this Social Health Authority works the way it is supposed to work. Maybe finally, and I would want your guidance, Madam Speaker, on how you process statements as it was sought by Senator Dhangwa. I am a bit uncomfortable with the statement that has been sought by Senator Hezenare Maritian. Madam Speaker, in this statement, the good senator is asking for protection of traders because traders have come to their county in Samburu. Madam Speaker, I do not think there is a law that would prohibit anybody from doing business anywhere. Because what has been sought in this statement, Madam Speaker, is that there is a large influx of traders from outside the county who are doing transport of goods and...
Senator Methu, in 30 seconds, finish, please.
In fact, Madam Speaker, you should give me 1 minute, because it is you who processed this particular statement, and this is a very defective statement. And Madam Speaker,
proceed. You're
we
using
must
your
speak about inclusivity. We cannot speak about inclusivity when we want to exclude some people from doing some business from some place. If you are to argue the same way, Senator from Nairobi will say that business people are doing business in Nairobi. Then it will be very difficult for me to set up a business in Kericho. It will be very difficult for a Kenyan to go and do business in Vihiga. We must allow free movement of goods and services. We must allow free trading between communities across board, Honorable Speaker. And I also find it very ridiculous that in one of the asks of the statement is the enforcement.
What's your point of order, Senator Cheruiyot?
Madam Speaker, apologies to interrupt my neighbor, but I just wanted to request him to cut that part of the clip of what he has spoken in his lucid moment here in the House, where he speaks about inclusivity, and send it, Madam Speaker, to his party leader currently in the US, who has told us that only one community does business.
Senator Cheruiyot, you are out of order. Senator Cheruiyot, that is, Senator Methu, ignore that and finish with your 15 seconds.
You know, my former cousin, Madam Speaker, is a bit uncomfortable with with the new friends that I've got in the likes of Senator Sifuna, the new cousin now. But I just wanted to say, Madam Speaker, we cannot, the ask that has been asked on the enforcement mechanism to ensure that traders from other counties comply with the county trade and market rules. Madam Speaker, the enforcement is by the county, because the laws are by the county. What else is the committee or the Senate expected to do in terms of enforcement? If these people have paid the levies that are required, if they have paid the fees that are required to go and do business in Samburu, nobody can stop and nobody should stop. When we speak about integration...
Senator Omtata.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to continue from where Senator Methu has left off. That's a constitutional right for any Kenyan to live and reside and trade anywhere in this country, so we cannot curtail that freedom. But I will proceed to comment on the statement by Senator Mwaruma on the chief. Madam Speaker, it is really disheartening that we have reduced the health of people into a mechanism of extracting money from the poorest of the poor. SHIF is an extraction mechanism for stealing from the poor, because if we really wanted universal health care, we would begin by fixing public hospitals. We have not done that. Instead, we are forcing people who otherwise would have enjoyed cover to pay annually when they don't have capacity. People should be allowed to pay according to their capacity. They would have to enjoy a cover that is given by the state. But all said and done, Madam Speaker, the chief arrangement is an extortion mechanism, and that's why they are prioritizing to get as much money as they can from the Kenyan citizen. And that needs to be stopped, so that if the issue is to give people health care, let us fix the health system, let us get the hospitals working, let us get the doctors in public hospitals, and let us run universal health care on public hospitals. Running universal health care on private hospitals is opening an avenue for looting from state coffers. So, Madam Speaker, I support this motion, and I pray that when the committee looks at it, it does a holistic job of looking at the entire architecture of universal health care, including answering the question whether you can credibly run universal health care on private hospitals. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Omtata. Senator Okenyuri Esther.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I wish to comment on the statement by Senator Catherine Muma on unchecked inflammatory utterances by influential public figures. Madam Speaker, we cannot legislate on morality because I think such kind of utterances has to do with behavior, Madam Speaker. Unfortunately, the Kenyan populace cheers such kind of utterances. So what can we actually do in regard to the statement by Senator Muma? This is actually calling to the attention of all of us to actually check on the culture we have, Madam Speaker, because when you actually even observe political podiums, the most nasty statement is what people cheer. And what our young people learning, they're just picking up from what they see their leaders do. So I think before Senator Muma wants the committee to look into this, as leaders, we need to call ourselves into and just look at what examples we are showing to the young people, to the youth of this country, to the women, and any other person who's expecting direction from we as leaders. We have actually disappointed them, Madam Speaker. So in as much as Senator Muma is concerned with this behavior, it is a challenge on we as leaders to look at how we change the culture and improve behavior. Madam Speaker, I also wish to comment on the statement by Senator Hezena on influx of traders to Samburu. I hope she was trying to address about trade imbalance. That being a concern, the best way to look at it is to look at what is actually most pressing, not restricting movement of those traders, Madam Speaker, because as a sponsor of the street vendors bill, that is not one way of protecting small-scale traders and also protecting the hassles people engage in. So there is a better way of addressing the trade imbalance so that both counties in Samburu and those benefit from this exchange that is happening. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Esi. Senator Osotsi Godfrey Atieno. Next order.
Order number 16, motion, consideration of the National Assembly amendments to the Startup Bill, Senate Bill